Hey loves, it's your girl DeeDee and welcome back to the channel. So I am back with another reaction video. Now this video comes from a TikToker who asked the question, why is it that Black women appear to be undesirable when it comes to marriage? So I'm gonna play a clip of what she had to say, and then also there's this viral list that's going around, or this viral post that's going around pointing out the top 10 reasons why Black women have the lowest marriage rates. Before we get into the video, make sure you comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. That is super important, you guys. So without any other further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Here we go.
This message is for Black women and Black women only. Answer this question. So statistics show that only 26% of Black women will marry in their lifetime from any race. 26% of Black women will marry in their lifetime. My question is, why do you guys think that is? Why do we have such low marital rates? And I'm not talking about Black women marrying Black men. I'm talking about men of all race wanting or desiring to marry a Black woman. Why are we so undesired when it comes to marriage? Now, I know there's percentage who don't want to be married, right? But there's a large percent of women, Black women, who want to be married. But again, why is that the case? Why is that? You know, I think if we start to really sit down and think about why statistics are what they are, they're not there for just any reason, right? There's reasons behind it, and I think that there's a plethora of reasons, and from my opinion, of why I believe that those statistics are what they are and why we are the lowest.
All right, so there you have it. So she asked the question, and I think it's a fair question, and I think it's a question that a lot of Black women should be asking themselves. Why is it that Black women are at the bottom when it comes to marital rates? Why is it that Black women seem to be the least desired when it comes to marriage? And my thing is this: you have to go back. You have to go back to your upbringing. You have to go back to where it all started and what you were taught. And I think people don't want to focus on that because it points to another narrative that a lot of these women were raised by single women. When you are raised by a single mother, you know, who's, you know, she's never been married. She was never taught that, you know, marriage was important. And mind you, I wouldn't say that this is everybody's household, but it is a lot of households that this is happening in. Hell, you have people who've come from two-parent households and still don't want to get married. So it really just depends on partly your upbringing, what was taught to you, and what the importance of it is, or it was for you. If it's something that you look at as an importance, because I know growing up, you know, marriage didn't seem to be a big deal. Marriage was not on anybody's radar. A lot of the young women that I was raised up with weren't taught about marriage. They didn't even think marriage was something that they should aspire to be or have, or they just thought, you know, you get a man, you get a baby, and that's it. Nobody was never really taught that you need to get you a husband and marriage is important and marry before you carry. A lot of the people I was raised with were not taught that. So if you were not raised with those basic morals, you're not going to look at it as anything of any importance. You're not going to look at it as something that you should aspire to do. You're not going to look at it as something that you need for your life, or, you know, something, you know what I mean? So it was not the focal point of growing up, and having a baby wasn't the determining factor. You know, a lot of women just had babies. They didn't think about marriage. It was the norm to go out and have a baby with your boyfriend or whatever, and marriage was not even on the table. In fact, a lot of women, you know, marriage was a second thought. They didn't even think about it. It's like, oh, married, I never thought about that. And then, not even just thinking about it, they were not taught what a wife was to be to a husband. And a lot of the men were not taught what it was to be a husband to a wife. So fast forward, you don't get that teaching. You don't get it. You see other people with it and you want it, but you have not one clue of how to get it and how to maintain it. I do think it basically comes from a lack of training in that area and not being taught. And so it's not a big deal until it is. So there's this post that's been going around. It gives the top 10 reasons why Black women have the lowest marital rates. And I'm going to read from this list for you guys. And I want to get your thoughts on this one. So the list is going viral. And it says top 10 reasons why Black women have the lowest marriage rates. Now, number 1, nasty attitudes and disposition, which we do see a lot of that. Once again, a lot of that comes from how you were raised, the environment you were raised in. I see a lot of parents who have the attitude and the children has the attitude. They learn from their mama and they repeat that cycle. So nasty attitudes and disposition could definitely be a turnoff as to why men don't choose those types of women for marriage. Number 2 says uncooperative and opposed to leadership. That makes plenty of sense because a lot of women who have seen their mothers run the household, they don't understand how to cooperate with a man. They don't understand leadership because all they've seen was their mother's lead. She was the only person there. So they see her running the household, doing everything. So they believe and feel that that's how they should move as well. So they don't understand how to work with a man because they didn't see a man around, or they don't know, what that looks like. So yeah, I think a lot of women are have become the men. Honestly, they're the man, they're the woman, they're the mother, they're the father. Let them tell it. That's really sometimes all they know. And I think sometimes you can become a victim of your environment. You can't really fault a person for that because they had no control in that. But what you can control, you can control the choices that you make now that you know better. So once you've been given better information, then it's up to you to use it and do something differently. You can't continue to make excuses for what your mama did and what your grandmama did and all of that because they may not have known any better. But now you have access to ways to get yourself to a better place. So there's no excuse for it because there's information out here, information that we didn't have years ago, or there's the knowledge that we didn't have years ago that you have now. So there's no excuse for continuing the cycle of bad behavior because now that you can do something differently. Number 3, it says are masculine and lacks femininity. We know that is definitely true. Number 4 says don't value their virtue. That's 100% the case. I mean, society has made women think that being a 304 is where it's at. You can dress as provocative as you want to. You don't have to cover up. Why should you? We're women, so we can do whatever we want. We outside and it shouldn't matter. A man shouldn't care about the way you dress. He shouldn't care about how you are perceived by the public and his peers and how that reflects him as a man. Women don't see that. They don't understand the perspective of a man because a lot of times a man wasn't showing up in that way or he just wasn't present. Number 5 says doesn't prioritize fitness. Oh, child, we some of the biggest people out here. So we know that that's the case. Number 6, disregards global ethic image. Bonnets all over the place. Don't see where that's a problem. They don't understand how that could be perceived and how perceived in a negative way as to how Black women don't really care about their appearance. You wear slippers and robes and nightgowns and night shorts everywhere you go with bonnets on. You just hopped out of bed, threw your bonnet on and went to the store, went to the airport, went to everywhere, and you don't see that that's a problem. You don't think that affects your image in any kind of way or don't really care about it. So that could definitely affect why most men look at that and say, nah, I don't want to be a part of that. Number 7 says egotistic, rejects criticism. Number 8 says no loyalty, unwilling to invest or build. That's a fact. Number 9 says doesn't tend to a man's ego. And number 10 says has no grounded sense of healthy submissiveness. And it's true. All of these things are true, but a lot of our women, unfortunately, don't want to accept the truth. There's no accountability. And I'm sorry, without any accountability, you can't make any advances or changes. Unfortunately, for the women who do want marriage, when it comes to Black women, this is going to negatively affect them because now men are moving differently. And so men are not trying to take any chances. Men are afraid to even get married now because they don't want to have to deal with the consequences of the behavior of these types of women. They don't trust women. You can't blame them because women are constantly saying how Black men are just so horrible and they're this and they're that. And then you want them to level up and do all these things when a lot of these women aren't being accountable for themselves. So this is why, part of the reason why a lot of men aren't even trying to get married. They don't even believe in it. For the ones who were skeptical about it or the ones who may have wanted to try, they're skeptical now because they're like, nah, I don't want to work hard and have to lose everything to a woman who's a chameleon pretending like she's into me and she's really not, and she's only here for what I can give her, and that's it. And the minute I fall short or God forbid anything happens, she's gonna drop me like a hot potato and go to the next. There's no commitment with a lot of these women. And unfortunately, it's going to hurt the good women who are still out here looking for good men because now men are just skeptical. They're not sure if they want to chance the idea of actually committing to a woman and loving a woman and doing all these things, and then she turn around and burn him. It's work that has to be done, but if we can't even get women to be accountable for their own stuff, it's going to be even harder for anything to change or anything to get better. In the next 10, 15 years, I don't see it getting any better. I see it just getting worse and worse and worse, with women over here, men over here, all separated. So this is part of the reason why a lot of Black women have the lowest marital rates, because they don't understand what marriage is. And also the things that were listed on this post goes into why a lot of our women aren't married and why they're the least desirable. I would advise any woman who wants something, a real relationship, a marriage, or any of that, committed relationships, to pay attention to the stuff that's being posted. Pay attention to what's out here, because these are the things that's going to affect whether men want to commit to you or not. These are the things that are affecting why a lot of men don't want to commit to women. They don't feel that these women are genuine. They don't feel that these women have the right attitude. They don't feel that these women are the best choices for marriage. And in many cases, a lot of these particular women have definitely proven men right. Baby, this is a lot. It's a lot that needs to be changed, and it's not all on the men to make all the changes. Women have to make some changes just as well as the men. I'm not saying either side is perfect, but it's not all on the men to make all the adjustments. I think the women need to make adjustments as well. Y'all were raised in the same household by the same woman or the same parents. And if there are issues with both of you. So that means both of you got to make some changes. You can't just think that it's all the men and you just perfectly walking around here perfect and you're not flawed at all. No, that's the problem. Take accountability, make some changes, learn some things, talk to men, figure out what men want, what they need, just as much as you want the man to figure out what you want and what you need. It has to be balanced in that situation. You can't just have it all and he's lacking everything. That's not going to work. So listen, y'all chime in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with the list? Do you disagree with the list? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.